Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Adrielle and I'm currently narrating a story of my life dating back from January 2016. In a previous video, I talked about the month of January and that I went on a fast and I got some revelations during that fast. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the fast and the revelations I got. So here it goes. So I first want to start off with the reason why I went on a fast. And the reason why I went on a fast was because I was hurting so bad, y'all. Like my heart was aching. I was so hurt by the whole Desi transfer situation. I was just so hurt by Brandon. And my heart was just hurting to the point where I was like, okay, God, you got to heal me. Like, I need you to heal my heart because it feels shattered. So I went on this 3-day fast. It was the 23rd of January, the 24th, and the last day was the 25th. So on the 23rd, I would say that was pretty much a peaceful and quiet day. It was pretty much peaceful and quiet. And typically when I go on my fast, I stay away from social media. I stay away from music, entertainment, only because I feel like that's a very big distraction for me. And the first day felt very peaceful. Now, the second day, that was when I was kind of like reflecting on the knowledge I got in the month of January, just thinking about the whole sacrifice and destiny transfer attempt. And I was just thinking about it. I'm like, man, this is so crazy. I thought so hard about it to the point where I was like, okay, Brandon and Caitlin, they did the whole sacrifice thing. Well, Caitlin influenced Brandon to do it, but Brandon didn't marry Caitlin. Caitlin didn't have his kids. The business is Brandon's business. It's not Caitlin's business. So I was like, okay, Caitlin is living a counterfeit version of my life. So I'm like, okay, the destiny transfer didn't go through. So if it didn't go through, why is he still there? I'm like, why is he still there? So that was when I was thinking to myself, like, I honestly believe that the sacrifice that Brandon did, the demonic sacrifice, it created a demonic demonic covenant. Because I was reading a lot of stuff about destiny transfers. I was watching a lot of videos about stuff like that. Because of the witchcraft that Brandon and Caitlin got themselves involved in, they had a demonic altar and a demonic covenant. I believe the altar and the covenant was what was keeping him with her. Because I'm like, he didn't marry her. She doesn't have his kids. It's his business, the 13th and More online business. It's his business, so he can choose to shut it down if he wants to. So, like, what's really keeping him there? The demonic altar and covenant that he got in with Caitlin. Okay, so that was what I was just thinking about on day 2. So, as I was pondering on that, I got some downloads from the Holy Spirit. And I'm going to tell you what I received from the Holy Spirit. So initially what I received from the Holy Spirit was that she knows. She knows. That's all I was receiving in the beginning. She knows. Then the Holy Spirit started to like itemize the stuff that Caitlin knew. Okay. So the first thing that she knew was that Caitlin knew that her and Brandon were not married. And I was like, okay, Lord, okay. Because this entire time, y'all, when I found out that they were not married, I'm thinking, how was Caitlin okay with not being married to Brandon? Because you got to remember, that was the whole thing that Caitlin was doing in 2016 when it came to Lily. She used Lily. She got a second child by someone else. She used that to get Brandon to marry her. So I'm like, how did she do all these things to get him to marry her? But then I found out that they're not married. Like, doesn't she not know? Yeah, she knows. And it makes sense because she didn't see any marriage certificate. So of course she's going to know. So I'm thinking, okay, if she knows that they're not married, why did they go to the county clerk's office to get a marriage license? Why did they do the whole ceremony? So I was like, I didn't get that part though. But here's the thing. Here's what I realized. Here's what I realized was that as far back as 2021, just to go back a little bit, I remember seeing the reconnection post and just that time in 2021, just feeling defeated, feeling like the enemy won. But I was praying. Y'all, God was answering my prayers. God was answering my prayers, but I didn't know. So here's the thing. When Brandon and Caitlin got together, like when he moved in 2021, they got together in 2020, but when he moved in 2021, Caitlin for sure wanted Brandon to marry her. So when they went to the county clerk's office, Caitlin for sure wanted the marriage to be legal. But see, this is what happened. God blocked it. Now, later on in the story, actually later on in 2023, later on in 2023, I find out how the Lord was able to block, or what God used to block Brandon from marrying Caitlin back in 2021. So yes, Brandon and Caitlin went to the county clerk's office. They got the marriage license. They did the ceremony, but God made sure that Brandon did not return the marriage certificate. And also I found some other things out too about their marriage ceremony, license, issue, whatever. So yes, so God was the one that blocked it. So this is why sometimes we got to be careful about what we see, because we can be praying about something and it looks like nothing is happening. So because we think that nothing is happening, we think God is not doing anything. We think God is silent. No, God is working behind the scenes. He hears your prayers. He's listening to you. He's working it out. It may not seem that way because you don't know what's really going on, but God is answering your prayers. So back in 2021, when I was praying against Jezebel and the works of the enemy, God was answering my prayers. So God was the one who blocked Brandon from marrying Caitlin back in 2021. And later on, I find out how he did that. Okay. So Caitlin knew that she was not married to Brandon. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, how is she comfortable, like, being with him, knowing that they're not married, but putting on this facade that they are? Isn't she gonna, like, I just feel like Caitlin is just gonna be begging him, please, please marry me. Please, let's go to the courthouse and get married. Please, please, please. Anyway, so that was the first download I got. The second download I got was that Brandon did not change Lily's last name. And God also blocked that as well. Okay? So when it came to that download, I don't recall getting like an explanation about Brandon not changing Lily's last name, but it made sense, y'all, because I remember when Brandon and Caitlin did the live, that was February 2021. Brandon said that he was going to change Lily's last name, right? By May 2021, that was when Lily graduated from preschool. And Caitlin had a caption about that. And she said that it felt so good for them to say Lily Moore. Now, I remember when I saw that and I'm like, wait. Brandon said that he was going to change Lily's last name February. That was middle of February or third week of February. It's May. So 2 months. So it took 2 months for Brandon to change Lily's last name? No. Because here's the thing, y'all. I've gone through a whole name change process. My process was not 2 months. When it comes to Lily, like I think I talked about this in the previous video, I would believe that Brandon would have to go through the whole paternity portion first, then the name change. I believe that will be longer than 2 months. So just from my brain, logically, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense that Lily had adopted Brandon's last name within 2 months. And even when Brandon said that he was going to change their last name back in February, I don't think he did it right away. So logically, to me, it didn't make sense. Also, when it came to BB, I don't believe that Brandon signed off of BB's birth certificate. I don't. Honestly, I believe Brandon was just there for support. Like, Caitlin, I'm going to support you. I'm going to support your kids. I'm gonna be a driver. I'm going to be a babysitter. I'm going to be a nanny. I'm going to be all this. But I am not going to be your husband. I am not going to be a father to your kids. I'm just here for support. I believe that was what was happening over there in Oklahoma. But there was this picture being painted on the internet that Brandon was married to Caitlin and that Brandon was the father of her kids. So yeah, Caitlin did not have Brandon's last name. Lily as well didn't have Brandon's last name. And I also believe too that BB didn't have Brandon's last name. So yeah. Now the third download I got was that Caitlin was unable to have Brandon's kids because Brandon wasn't able to get her pregnant. And that's because God blocked it. Yes. So here's the thing. While Caitlin was with Brandon back in 2016, she tried to get him to get her pregnant. It wasn't working, so she resorted to his brother. When Brandon got back with Caitlin in 2020, she wanted him to get her pregnant again. It wasn't working, so she resorted to somebody else, an engineer in Oklahoma. So all the times that Caitlin got pregnant and she went outside, she really was trying to get pregnant by Brandon, but it wasn't working out. And it wasn't working out because God blocked it. See, here's the thing. You know what? This is why it's so interesting how people try to control people. People try to control situations thinking and acting like God doesn't exist. Like, Caitlin, God saw all your schemes. God saw all your plans. God saw that you tried to get Brandon to get you pregnant, and he blocked it. But you know what I think was so funny and interesting in all of this was that Brandon couldn't get Caitlin pregnant because God blocked it, right? Caitlin decides to go outside to get pregnant, and God was like, okay, you want to go outside to get pregnant and make it seem like Brandon is the one that's getting you pregnant? Okay, I'm going to let you do that. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure the kids that you have, they are going to have their father's face, their real father. All of Caitlin's kids look like their real father. They do not look like Caitlin at all. Caitlin's kids do not look like her at all. And because Brandon is not the one getting her pregnant, they don't even look like Brandon. So you just having a bunch of kids, well, you're just having kids with another man's face. That's not the man that you're claiming to be your spouse. Because here's the thing, y'all, that was the only way in the beginning that I was able to know that Caitlin's kids was not Brandon's kids, because they didn't look like him and they didn't look like her either. Lily looks like Nami. BB looks like she has a Hispanic father. And Nami and Brandon don't even look alike like that. Yes, they are related, but their faces are different. So yeah, Brandon was unable to get Caitlin pregnant because God blocked it. Now, it was Caitlin's every intention to have kids by Brandon, but God blocked it. So she went outside and got pregnant from random guys and portray that Brandon was the father of her kids. Now, I will say this, when it comes to that, we can say that, okay, that's very evil, very deceiving. You got to remember, y'all, Caitlyn is a puppet in all of this. She's a devil's puppet. Caitlyn had allowed herself for so long to be used by the devil. I did a video previously about destiny enemies and how people who are destiny enemies, they are children of the devil and they dedicate their lives to the devil. That is Caitlyn. Caitlyn has dedicated herself to the devil. Her mind, her emotions, her soul has been hijacked by demons. So that is why she does everything that's evil under the sun. She lies. She breaks up homes. She's involved in all sorts of evil because she chose to dedicate herself to the devil. And she's a witch. So, yeah. Now, the last revelation I got was that she knows that Brandon is not into her. So Caitlyn knows that Brandon doesn't like her. Like, she knows that he is not into her. Now, I talked about Caitlyn getting Botox. I don't know if I mentioned that she has lip fillers, but she got Botox, lip fillers, jaw injections or whatever. And right before she met Brandon, probably like a week before that, that's when she got veneers. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this, but she didn't start getting the whole Botox, lip fillers until after Brandon left and after she gave birth to Lily. So those insecurities that Caitlyn had with her self-image, it really ran deep. I think the rejection that she felt from Brandon made her feel very, very insecure with her looks. So maybe that's what prompted her to get into plastic surgery. But here's the thing about that. Now, at this time, my knowledge of Brandon is just based off what the Lord is letting me know and what I'm discerning. What I discerned from Brandon, even all the way back in 2018, was that he preferred a woman that was natural. So that was why when I found out about Caitlyn, I knew she was into plastic surgery. I'm like, okay. I don't get it, but okay. So Brandon was someone I knew who preferred someone who was natural. And later on, I found out that was actually true, that he preferred someone who was actually natural. That was why in the live, when Caitlyn said she glowed up, Brandon kind of was like, he was kind of quiet. But so Caitlyn was very much aware that Brandon wasn't into her like that. I think physically and even personally, like her personality was concerned. So that was something that she knew. And also too, when Brandon and Caitlyn met in the beginning, she kind of like morphed into whatever he liked. Brandon was someone who really liked Drake back then. I don't know about now, but he listened to Drake a lot. She too. Drake was her thing too as well, listening to hip hop. But after, when Brandon got back with her in 2021, 2020, all that stopped. Started listening to country music. So that was really her thing. So when she met Brandon back in 2016, she tried to morph into his interests and to what he likes so that he can get with her. But that was the downloads that I got. And another thing, there was something else. Hold on. Oh, there was another thing that I was able to discern while the Holy Spirit was giving me this download. But I want to piggyback on the whole fact that Caitlyn knew that Brandon didn't like her. Once I got that download, I'm like, well, it makes sense. That was why she did a love spell on him. That was why she did witchcraft on him. Because if Brandon truly liked Caitlyn, to be honest, I believe if a guy truly likes a woman and wants to be with her, you don't have to do love spells on him. You don't have to do witchcraft on him. If he really likes you and he wants to be with you, he's going to put in the effort to want to be with you. She did the love spells because she knew that he didn't want to be with her. He didn't like her. But then again, I'm thinking to myself, like, Caitlin, if this guy is running away from you, he doesn't want to be with you, why are you forcing him to be with you? Because here's the thing, even though Brandon got with Caitlin, left Atlanta, moved in with her, and is putting on his facade, she has to look herself in the mirror. Not only look herself in the mirror, but she has to look at Brandon every day. She has to look at him every day and say to herself, if I didn't do what I did, he wouldn't be sitting next to me. The only reason why he's here is because of what I did. He never chose me. If I never did what I did, he wouldn't be here. So how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel that a person's only with you because you did a love spell on them, because you told them to do a sacrifice? Like, wouldn't you want someone to be with you because they genuinely want to be with you? And it's like, oh, Caitlin, you don't even want to be with you. You don't even love you. And you know that. You don't love you, so you want someone else to love you. How can someone else love you when you don't love you? How can someone else be genuine with you when you're not even genuine with yourself? Relationships are not supposed to be rescue missions. If you don't feel good about yourself, go to God. Now, I will say this. Later on, I found out that Caitlin has a traumatic past. And it makes sense as to why she was doing the things that she was doing, as to why she resorted to witchcraft and all that stuff. But you need to address your issues. It's very important that you address your issues so you don't bleed on people, so you don't hurt innocent lives. So the last thing I want to talk about was Caitlin's post on Instagram. So going through Caitlin's feed from 2021, 2022, she would always post her and Brandon or her and her kids and say, oh my goodness, my family, this is the family I prayed for. God gave me my family, whatever, just lying, right? So I'm like, look, I thought about it. I'm like, this girl is lying, but she's constantly posting this picture, perfect family picture on Instagram. Then I'm like, oh, this is not what, like, her doing those posts, it's not what I thought it was. So I realized that Caitlin posting Brandon, posting her kids, saying that God bless her family, lying on God and doing all of that, she wasn't doing that because she was happy, even though the people in her comment section thought that she was happy. No, she wasn't doing it because she was happy. She was doing it because deep down, y'all, even though she got with Brandon, her sorrows were still running deep. She was still deeply sorrowed from whatever internal issues she has going on. So she was using the Instagram post to soothe herself. If people keep leaving comments, hey, oh my goodness, you guys are relationship goals. I'm so glad that God restored your love. If she kept on seeing those comments, she believed those comments were going to bring relief to the internal pain that she was going through the mental pain that she was going through. Because y'all, Caitlin is a troubled girl. She is very troubled. So that validation that, oh my goodness, you're such an amazing mom, you're such an amazing person, she needs that. She is tormented. Y'all, Caitlin has demons. And when a person has demons, that person is tormented. So she leaned heavy on social media to get some type of relief. That was one. Two, another reason why she would post Brandon to, oh my goodness, the love of my life, whatever. The reason why she was doing that was because in real life, that was not what was going on. No, Brandon was not showing Caitlin any love at all. Was he present? Yes. Was he loving her? No. He was not. So let me sell this picture perfect relationship image on social media. Because in reality, I know this is not love, but if I keep posting this picture perfect relationship and people keep saying that we're relationship goals, then that will make me feel better. And at the same time, too, if Brandon keeps seeing these comments, oh my goodness, you guys are a power couple, you guys are a team, you guys are such a great couple, that will also get into Brandon's head as to why he should be committed to Caitlyn, stay longer, and just... Because here's the thing, y'all. Even though Caitlyn did witchcraft on him, she was still doing things to keep him around. This is the reason why I had the boat dream I had in 2018. Now, there is going to be a time where I am going to go into the dream interpretations of like some of the dreams I had back in 2018 and stuff like that. But yeah, y'all, Caitlyn was fighting throughout her time with Brandon. She was not happy. She was fighting to make sure her and Brandon looked good. She was fighting to get relief from the mental warfare, emotional warfare that was going on inside of her. She was fighting to... Y'all, Caitlyn hated being a mother. That's another thing I'm going to say too. Caitlyn hated being a mother. She was fighting that as well. See, this is why you guys have to be careful about what you see on social media, because what you see is not always the real picture. Now, there are people out there who are in like genuine loving relationships and loving marriages, but there are some people out there that are faking it. Caitlyn hated being a mom. Caitlyn was tormented. There was a lot of things going on with Caitlyn. If y'all knew how mentally disturbed and crazy Caitlyn was, people would not follow her. Okay, so I'm gonna just end the episode here. Let me just talk about the third day. The third day, I just went through the third day, and I think I had a dream that was weird. But yeah, that was pretty much what happened with the fast, y'all. So please, y'all, I'm gonna say this again, y'all. You need Jesus. We all need Jesus. I need Jesus. Anyone listening to this video, you need Jesus. Do not think you can go about this life without Jesus. You cannot. Okay? So whatever you're going through, please take it to Christ. If you are going through torment, go to Christ. If you're going through heartache, if you're going through a breakup, if you're going through depression, if you're going through sadness, if you're going through grief, if you're going through poverty, you probably have a bunch of bills and you don't know how it's going to get paid, go to Jesus. He is the answer, okay? Witchcraft is never the answer. Never. Because you're just bringing chaos into your life, okay? Go to Jesus. He wants to hear from you. Okay, so that is the end of this episode. Next video, I'm going to talk about basically the end of January. And yeah, so if you are liking An Unlikely Story, please like, comment, and subscribe. And please also share my videos as well. And until next time, y'all. Bye.